Yeah, greetings, dear ones. Yeah, you brave souls journeying up for transformation, not just talking about it, but doing it. This is rare. So good work. We're calling on Alma's grace, the Creator's grace, to help us really put into practice what we're learning and to walk this, because this is what's going to make the difference to the world and to our own lives. And may the grace just give us enough peace to do this, enough trust to do this. May we open and just get all our needs met. And when we feel anxious, may we learn to turn to the Creator and just be until peace returns. Yeah. And so it is. Yeah. So this is a multi-level satsang. We're going to be more and more as time goes on. We're going to be connecting to the bigger love within us at a pace we can manage. Just like, a few weeks ago, there was a satsang about the imagery of a little hut in the center of a courtyard surrounded by a palace. This is really what's going on psychologically for us. There's a palace of our true nature, of our true personality, of our king and queenness, emperor and empressness. That is the state of the person who is embodying their truth. It's available to any of us. This is a very, very democratic process. Some of you have been feeling a little heavier and a little more conflicted. So don't worry about this. This is coming. This is what happens when you come into more love power. Remember, Amma talks about how the artist starts with an ungainly big boulder and he begins his chipping work. He takes his hammer and chisel and works away. This is the same process by which we move from our ego selves into realizing that we are eternal. Okay, I'm going to step back and draw in a little bit of science to help you, to help your understanding, to help it get bigger, because you guys, this is what solves things. When our understanding gets bigger, we more effortlessly move into our true self. When our minds are bigger, there's more room. We're not doing the bad and good thing so much. So I want to talk about your atoms. Your atoms are billions and billions of years old, and the material in your body comes from stars. Really, we are stardust. The carbon, the calcium, the iron, all from stars. Who died and exploded and left their atoms kind of buzzing around the universe. I want you to realize you are stardust. The other thing I want you to realize is the first law of thermodynamics is energy can never be destroyed. It just changes form. So the energy that you are made out of, that the atoms are made out of, can never be destroyed. And these atoms, actually, in your body, every day, trillions of atoms leave your body and are replaced by atoms coming from your food or the air. It really is scientifically proven that 98% of the atoms in your body will have left, will have been replaced within a year. So we are, in a way, patterns that organize our atoms. We've got our own unique pattern of consciousness, just like the snowflakes that I've talked about. Every snowflake's different. They all look the same. You know, scientifically, and I don't really understand how this is possible, but scientifically, waves, what makes it look that waves are moving is the atoms inside are going up and down. They're just going up and down, you guys. And when they're going up and down, they create the pattern of the wave that seems to move. Again, you know? And, you know, in a funny way, this is like why the spiritual journey can be difficult, because we get hypnotized by ordinary reality, by what our world looks like, and also by what our relationships look like. We look like we're the child of somebody, we're the parent of somebody. It looks that way. And there's a level, yeah, it's true, but on a deeper level, we're patterns of atoms. And on a deeper level than that, we're souls. The atoms in your body have been stars, animals, planets, genius people, great people, bank robbers. Who knows? Who knows? But, you know, knowing the way the world works, I bet that as we wake up, our atoms are more likely to come from wise people. Really. Mm. But it's kind of unquantifiable. It's like that's where we go into the realm of poetry with the journey. So I also want to tell you where separation comes from, so you can see the biology in it and move beyond it. Okay. So you guys, I'm really hoping you don't hold this to your hearts as an explanation of separation and get hopeless about it. Okay. Because everything is one. Any of us can wake up in a lifetime. So again, this is quantum mechanics. You know, electrons, they're in superpositions. So they are like a coin that's been thrown up in the air, and it could land as heads or tails. And they do not decide until we observe them. If we formally observe them, we can say where the electrons are. But the rest of the time, they're just in a cloud, and kind of they're in all positions and no positions. So I want you to think of like that you're an electron cloud, and you're sitting on a chair. The chair feels hard. The thing is, these clouds of electrons repel each other. Okay, you know how it's the opposite charge that attracts positive to the negative, or, masculine to feminine. That's a beautiful one. But in this case, the electrons are repelling each other. And in fact, there is a tiny bit of air between what you're sitting on and you. Microscopic, but there will be a separation. Okay? I know. This just feels intuitively all wrong, but it is what the math of quantum mechanics says. So what we feel as touch, we're actually feeling the two forces, the two electron clouds in the chair and in us, and they're repelling each other. And that is what we feel is touch. So this is why we can go into intense feelings of separation. Premasutta thinks. Do you see? Nobody has said this. I think this. This is kind of where our separation comes from, because on a cellular level or an atomic level, there is. But at the same time, you guys, everything is one. There is absolutely no separation at all. The same being created the person sitting in the chair, and the same being created the chair. It's all the same. But I'm raising this because I want to talk about integrity for a few weeks. Integrity is when you reach this feeling, this kind of atomic level of separation, and you connect up with your being that is in everything. Now, to do this takes some courage. This is why it's hard. Because there's a level like our atoms feel like they're separate, or our electrons. I even thought about, not even telling you this in case it upsets people, but in a way, I want you to see that the separation, where the separation comes from on a like scientific level, so you can get through it, because that's what integrity is. You get through your ego to connect up with your divinity, and you walk that. And every day you allow more and more of your divinity through, in your choices, in your thoughts, in your actions. This work is profoundly transpersonal. That's why I can hear your thoughts. And that's why I get information about what to tell you, what to say to you, what you most need to hear and understand so that you can move into truth more. That's the whole reason, many of you know this, why I work with your early memories and your early dreams. If there's any heaviness that comes up, it is just your disowned power. So just embrace it, please. If you ever feel any heaviness, just embrace it, and you will become light again. We're tempted to go into self-pity and resentment, go, oh, I can't do it. I don't know how. Oh, this doesn't work. Yep. But remember, this isn't a technique, it's awakening work. It's going right to the heart, right to the truth, and it takes time to kind of accept this. Like it takes time to, like, for the atoms to shift, to move out, to make room. For it's like the same principle. It takes time for our old understanding to leave and to get the new understanding while in our bodies. This is not a quick fix. This is non-dual work with a heightened emotional component. It's like non-dual with a nod to the feminine. Okay, you're allowed in after all. Really, that's what it is. Because non-dual can get so very masculine in its approach. And it's good. It's all good. It's all good. The gradual way is a feminine way. It's more gradual. It's more of an embracing and a growing beyond. That's it. Okay, good. Okay, good. You feel safe with this. Good. Something was resolved there. You know, the masculine way is more. It's got a raucousness to it. You know, I said before, when the males are changing, usually there's war or real economic trouble on the outside. There's something like that, you know. Um, and it's very masculine to just go, okay, I'm going to God. I'm just going to God. And that's good. But the feminine way is more an embrace of the emotions of the human experience and sprouting like a seed, sprouting into this wisdom. And so this is what this work is, sprouting. So it's, you guys, I want to throw the ball back to you, the ball of your integrity. It is your choice whether you allow yourself to sprout. Truly, a teacher has no control. You can set up the absolute best conditions for seeds, and some of them won't sprout. It's just the way it is. Some seeds will sprout on rocky soil, like where 99% of them didn't, but one does. You know, we've all seen the little tiny flower growing up between a cement sidewalk, maybe, sort of right, this little tiny little warrior, peaceful warrior who did it. It's the same principle with the journey. All of this is what I mean. Our natural world reflects our, you know, our spiritual sides. It's all one. And, you know, if you haven't sprouted yet and you've been around a bit, just put your arms around it. Put your arms around it. Embrace it. Just embrace it. Don't criticize. Don't argue. Just embrace the fact that you're, you know, you haven't sprouted. I mean, what are you going to do about it? You can't take a hammer to yourself, like to pound yourself. It's like that will ruin you. Don't do that. They'll ruin your chance of sprouting. Just embrace Embrace everything. Everything. Whatever you embrace, you grow beyond. What you can't embrace will grow bigger than you. It will be a limit. Whatever we can't embrace, we will fight. And the problem will get bigger. And the reason the problem gets bigger, Pramasuta feels, is the universe is trying to give us data that this does not work. This is going the wrong way. We're always getting data from the universe about what works. Embrace. Who said you had to be anywhere? This is why I keep telling you guys about how clueless I was. Like, don't underestimate yourself. There's it's in the way of the Tao. The journey's, of 1,000 miles starts with one step. Just start on it. Like, I want you to hear what I say to you guys, because I've said to you, the more years you're on the journey, the more your subconscious gets primed to help you. Your subconscious will follow you. The more you want to evolve, very gradually, your subconscious will come in behind you and support this. And this is when the journey gets easier. The other thing you can do, and I can feel this one person who really feels like they're not getting anywhere, more than one, just say, like, ask yourself, ask Amma, like, speak it out loud to the air. Please show me where this resistance comes from so I can see it. We're moving into how to. It's so subtle. We move from, it's so subtle when I feel like I'm losing you. I want to come back to, coming back to embracing you, and you guys work this moment with just now embracing yourself with wherever you are. Some of you are deeply ambivalent about really doing this. And so you can embrace your deep ambivalence, and just ask why it exists. And the universe, Amma will show you. Okay, I'm really losing you. It's funny. You guys, there's no way around it. This work is dedicated to waking up. There are many other teachers. So I want you to sort of just admit that you're hanging out with a no nonsense one. And so why are you doing that? You could just ask yourself, why? Really? It's very beautiful to get answers like that, to get the answers that flows in, and it will be like a piece of your soul just coming back in. You invite disowned parts of your soul in through this, through doing this. It's just like you're on a path and all of a sudden there's a wall right in front of you. You can't go any farther, but you can't really go back. So you're standing there in front of the wall and you go, okay, universe, please show me why this wall is here. It will show you. It will show you your inner reason why it's there. I promise you. I'm going to give you some silence to compose yourselves, you guys. I mean, there's been a lot of very deep information. Like Premisute is very at home with all this. Like I forget. I forget how boat rocking it can be. Truly. I'm like, come on, get it. No, but I remember in the old days, steps could be very boat rocking. That's it. That's it. If this is bothering you at all, there's more love in my words than you realize. There's more love behind this than you realize. The helpful thing is you each have your destinies, regardless of how you're feeling right now, of what you came to learn. And that kind of trumps everything because it doesn't matter whether you resist or whether you flow along with it, you will learn what you came here to learn. So even if a person goes into fear, spends their whole life in fear, they learn something about what they came here to learn. Yeah, we can't avoid learning in a lifetime. They might learn the high cost of fear too, because fear is a very high cost at the end. It's much better to if you can learn to face it as you go. That's it. That's it. Yeah. I'm just going to hold you energetically for a while. With our clouds of electrons repelling each other, it's when we experience the transpersonal power of being loved, we connect up to our soul. When we come to satsang, it's an opening for our souls to come in. They get strengthened. Yeah. I can feel how willing some of you are, and yet you feel like you bang up against this wall. And it's a wall of your intellect. Yeah. This is where a lot of us will go into learned helplessness. Oh, it's hopeless. As a child, we would have banged up against our parents' closed heart. And so what happens in adulthood is our souls bang up against our own closed hearts, you guys. the thing that your hearts, I can feel it, are close to is yourselves. Right. Yeah, you guys. Please don't do this. Or don't do it for long. Or if you're doing it for long, just embrace it. Yep, I'm stuck here. I can't get past it. I'm stuck. And be with being stuck. The universe will give you more and more information about what it feels like to be stuck. You guys, you see how it works? It's like the dam in the river. The pressure builds. It builds and builds and builds. We get so uncomfortable with our lack of self-love. We feel tense, tired, churning. And you know, when we get through that wall, there's just a rush of relief as the waters just plunge into their freedom. This is just how evolution works, you guys. We go through intensely uncomfortable periods when we're banging up against a wall. And we can go like, oh, I'll never get through it. And you know, that's the wall talking. That's your ego talking. I don't know how long it is going to take for this shift to be made. Like Christianity was accepted by Rome 300 years after Christ's death. So I'm wondering if it's going to take 300 years for us, for our emotional IQs to rise enough to do this kind of work for the mainstream. It's funny with that, some of you started waking up, some denial cleared there. You know, maybe you're seeing like your worth, like seeing the value and your courage of stepping forward and doing this now. You know, the bottom line is it depends on the number of us that have spiritual openings and walk it, about whether the human race survives or whether we're just an experiment that didn't work. Amma has said that there's more light in the world than dark, and that if it ever became darker, more dark than light, that the universe would just be dissolved. The universe and everybody in it would just be dissolved, and she doesn't say start again. From the Sutta thinks we'd start again. We're like children of our soul. And sometimes children die. You know, I don't know how else to work with you guys except to be very blunt and also to give you know-how about how to get through this. I can't sugarcoat things, you know. Remember the angels at NDE, and the angels were they were praising that woman because she got out of bed every day. Like, this is the thing, you guys. We're loved like this. That you may be behind walls and you don't feel it, but I'm here to tell you we're loved like this. It's all love here. Yeah, yeah. I was working with someone and they always present as, oh, I really want this. I really want this. But they've been stuck behind a wall for a while. So my work with them was to help them see why they didn't want to evolve, to help them admit all the reasons they didn't want to evolve. That's how you embrace yourselves, you guys. You just embrace the reality of yourself. And by doing that, this person made progress in the session. The wall got definitely thinner, like majorly thinner, just because they were admitting, they voiced to me what they'd been hiding from themselves and pretending to hide from me. All the reasons why it was scary for them, all their withholds. And they didn't just say it intellectually, they felt their withholds. They felt the wall inside them. They embraced the scared child within. In the safety of the conversation and communion between us. So the resistance got smaller. A lot of you guys like judge yourselves and don't come near me, but judge yourselves. And it's okay. But you also might want to like think about, it's possible to set up a session for a deep look at what's holding you up. But even that might be too scary. You guys, I have no agenda at all. Apart from Amma says that she feels sometimes with us, she goes like, well, when are they going to get this? Like a human mother, she said, when are they going to get this understanding, this particular understanding that they're stumbling against? So it's a little like that. But I know how hard it is. And I didn't, Abraham, I didn't ask him for too much input. He gave it to me, but I didn't ask for it because he was too scary. And he was male. So I didn't really think he could help with some of the stuff. Well, also, different culture and everything, but in his big, wide, embracing way, he helped me a lot. He really saw me. So I actually really see you guys. So you always have that. I see all of you really, really, really deeply. And I hold you in my heart. Yeah. When the embodiment comes, if you're embodying, you will have periods where you feel really heavy, really light. You'll have periods where you feel really, really tense. You'll feel sometimes like you're surrounded with mountain air, clear, the negative ions, the clarity of mountain air. It energizes us. You might have an experience of just that. You also might have an experience of, what's the other thing? Oh yeah, I used to get as if the shutters, like a camera focusing, all of a sudden my eyesight would become as clear as a newly focused camera. Right, that would be a shift into truth for me. Like I had all these, just by paying attention, I had, I sort of, I would notice what these experiences happen, and then I would also notice, um, kind of what had created them. And what I noticed was it was a shift into truth, a shift into more self-love, more self-acceptance. You guys, we find our power when we accept ourselves and our situation. Yeah. And it can be the hard thing to do because we want it, our ego wants to keep the fight going. We feel like we'll die if we're not fighting this battle about whatever it is. It's like a mom, you know, if you got a mom with, if you got a child with 6 fingers, there's a shock of it, and then the acceptance. You know, this child is still precious. That's what the acceptance is. It's like seeing the preciousness anyway, with whatever flaw it is. You just see the preciousness anyway. There's a big tip. Do the things that make you feel light and taller and more peaceful. So in your actions, in your words, do things, speak things that make you feel kind of noble in a good way, not in a superior way, just where the soul feels its worth. You know that you're kind of doing the taking the higher ground, and it's hard in a way, but it's kind of like a great relief. It's like I was given an opportunity to be promoted by this person who is really good at uh, getting people, healers traveling, and really good at getting groups for them to meet them, and get paid well and everything. It was her expertise. And I knew that it wasn't my highest good. Like it was really tempting because I had the feeling that I was going to travel and help people. So there was part of me that was like, yes, I really know this is meant to happen. But there was this whole feeling about like, ew, ew, that it hadn't happened organically, that it was like making an advertisement, kind of boxing it and twisting it and promising great things probably to the people who turn up at workshops, and I couldn't do it. If I had done it, I would have felt terrible the whole time. We know. So this is, you guys, I have to say that I know I'm speaking to people who know. And I also know they're pretending not to know. But you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. All of it, actually, all of it. Underneath, you totally get it. That's why Amma says, you know, you can wake up people who are really asleep, but you can't wake up people who are pretending to be asleep because they're saying no. That's it. Part of the power of this work is I know you know exactly what I'm talking about. In the old days, I used to just work harder. I would try harder with a person. And there's some people who came for years, and I realized they didn't really want to know. They just wanted attention. And that's when I got tougher, you guys. That's why I'm tough. Yeah. You guys all know what I'm talking about. You've all felt your soul energy. Yeah, you guys, we all come in with things, uh, like goals in a way. Um, this is Premasuta's experience. So this is part of what makes the journey a little bit confusing because we have our own idiosyncratic needs. Like I know somebody who really needs touch. He came in with a soul thing about this life really needing touch, like that he would need touch perhaps to reach his soul. And this is certainly like Pramasuta. It's like where, Amma's hugs or Abraham's massage, I could not get it just intellectually, needed the touch. This person needs touch too. This person is English. It's so interesting. So there's the setup partly about the difficulty, a little bit of a resistance to touch. Um, and also, the prevailing thing that's going on in the world today is kind of non-touch. So all these things are challenges for the person who came in with that, but it's solvable just as they move into truth. So I know another person who it dawned on me that he came in with a soul. It was a need, really. Like it was set up for him to like power. Now, this fellow was he was kind of like the most disrespected member of his family, disrespected member of a chaotic family. So he got solved by he learned a skill and he does it very well. And he works, as a self-employed. Like he's a carpenter. He does very, very good work. And he stays in, he has this need for power is met because he set up a life where he has power. He's got power with his work where he does a fantastic job, and he's got as a self-employed person, he's the boss of things. So this is part of what you guys, we, in the whole package of us, we might be resisting something like that. We might not, we might have a need that we're not valuing, but something that we came in with. And so this is why I want your arms to be really big around yourselves. To include something like this. That's it. Right. You might come in with a real need for acceptance. So you might think that you like please people too much, but that's part of something that you came in with. And the positive pole of wanting acceptance is actually that's a negative, uh, twisting yourself to fit in. And the positive pole is uh, agape, the acceptance of God, like a God level acceptance, like total acceptance of what is. Yeah, you guys, this is why I want to open your minds to, like, even your atoms come from stars. You're so, it's like there's an infinite story in you. There's an infinite pattern in you. There's a, your pattern is coming from an infinite energy. We might feel small and very limited, but our origins are infinite. And, you know, Earth is almost says, it's like being at Harvard or Yale, like it's known in the non-physical realms to be just where the soul gets a level of subtle learning that is immensely valuable. Like our souls develop through our lives, you guys. That's how important you are. In fact, in my early years, as I was developing, I experienced what felt to me, and like it just felt to me like my soul was even having a crisis. And I was going, what is this? This is just weird. It was it was like a deeper level of pain. And I'm going, what is this? Uh, but I actually think it's true. I think this was part of where I was, my soul was making was growing, was developing. And after that, things got easier. Yeah. I'm getting a message from the ethers that there's a level of fellowship developing that is, yeah, it's pretty rare on the earth plane. The level of fellowship between all of us. Mm-hmm. That's it. Yeah, and I'm also getting um, this bulletin that there's a level of purity in many of you that makes you feel kind of ashamed at what you experience as your lack of purity, like at your human expression. But I'll tell you, I promise you this, just keep going. And what happens is, if you're carrying a very deep level desire for purity, you will get it. But you get it after seeing all the darkness and giving it over. You guys, give it over. I could solve nothing. Christ said, of myself, I can do nothing. Premasutta could not solve her ego troubles at all except by giving it over. And it becomes easier if you feel understood by somebody. If you feel understood by somebody who's, you feels in truth, it's easier. I mean, just thinking about Amma helps. That's it. But you might feel understood here in a way, deeply understood, and able to give over. We cannot solve it, you guys. It is our souls that solve things. We just make room for our souls. We fall out of our love affair with the ego and we make room for our souls. It's like telling an old lover, okay, you can go now. You can go and open the door for the real one, for the one you're meant to have, really. You open your door to the soul like this. Right. And you're sitting on part of your soul. You're in a room made out of your soul energy. Really, you guys. Really. This is where in the bigness, you see, we can let go of our stuff because the truth is just so wonderful that why would we want to hold on to these chains? And we don't need them. Yeah. The more you just continue on, it's like you make friends with yourself and the whole world becomes a friendly place for you. So, don't worry, you got lots of time. Not to be complacent, but you have a lot of time and things can change dramatically in 2 years. The other thing I wanted to talk about with integrity was like that pack of cards I talked about, there's one way that the pack is perfectly ordered, say. And then there are a million ways for it to be just chaotic. And this is the second level law of thermodynamics, that we go from order to chaos, to disorder, to entropy. That the earth plane is programmed, is tipped to move into disorder. It's, how the earth plane changes when the soul energy doesn't change. But on the earth, everything is mutable. It changes. So things become, disordered. Like the human body, we start off like really strong and resilient, and as we get older, we get more things, or often, not for everybody, but often it's the more things start not functioning, more problems start. It's just moving into disorder. Okay, this is why integrity is challenging, because there will be one choice, basically, that's the best for your soul energy, for the best for you moving into truth. And there will be, countless other choices of you that are you staying in your ego. And this is what our conflicts are about. We set off in the journey and we go, okay, I want to embody my soul. And so the soul says, okay, do this. And the ego starts screaming. So we get in the conflict, we get in the soup, we get in the stew. And if we just are in the stew, just keep praying and be in the stew, what will happen is clarity will come. And we will seamlessly be invited into the most perfect choice. The ego falls away by going into these stews. It's like the process of, coal turning into a diamond. The pressure builds. It was just coal, the pressure builds, and then you got a diamond out of it. It's the same principle. Right. So this is what you guys live through. This is it. We go through this. We go through these intense periods. And sometimes in an intense period, we will not be able to stay still, and we take an action that's out of fear and it will backfire. The results will not be good because it had fear in it. The results of the choice that's made from sitting with the conflict to come into clarity, or your best guess at clarity, like you're not 100% sure, but it feels like this might be the thing to do. That's what to do. And then look at the results of your choices. Because if the choice turns out, like if you made a choice out of fear, I promise you, it will cause you sorrow. So if you see this sorrow and feel it, then your fear will get smaller. It's so simple. It's just to do it. And as you have more and more practice on the journey, it is easier to stay just patiently in the soup until clarity comes before taking an action. And age helps with this too. That's the big secret, you guys. You just walk, and when you get in the soup, you feel it, be with the conflict, whatever it is. Until clarity comes. And it will, when you take a choice, you won't be 100% sure. You'll just go like, I feel like I'm following the breadcrumbs. I'm just going to try this. Now, what will happen is it will be most likely a good results. And then you build your trust this way, you guys. It's the same with somebody who's working with people. I used to, get information about when I'm in the early days working with people, and I wouldn't know whether it was true or not, whether it was really coming from truth or not. So I would experiment with it. I would just tell the person I'm getting this, and then I'd see the results of it, and over, the information was proved to be helpful and was accurate. And that's how I started trusting more and more what came to me. It's a very practical process, you guys. It's not cerebral. Yeah, this is what I want you guys to walk it. You just go and you go through periods of conflict. And then you just with it, until it's like you find the gold, till you find some kind of clarity. And I'll tell you, this will change your bodies. This is what allows us to receive guidance more easily. It purifies our body, it weakens our ego so that we can hear this still small voice better. Yeah. This is the heart of this work. It's so interesting. I'm like sort of speaking at the tail end after saying everything else. And we can all do it. But it's like walking without guardrails. It's like riding your bike without your training wheels. It is how you get off your training wheels is by doing this. Then you can really walk it. And fear comes up, you know, fear will come up like, you know, you guys, it can come up strongly. I told you that, every time I'd go to see Abraham, for some years, I would get checked at the border and searched. It was like awful. It's like, even though I knew even then I was scared to go see Abraham. So I'd get pulled in and searched every time. And then it stopped happening. It just observe, like, okay, I'm clearing fears, I'm getting searched. Oh, well. I mean, but I wasn't so clear about it. It's easier to see in hindsight. At the time, I'm just like, I always get checked at the border, poor me, or whatever. Yeah, berating the border guards, who were just acting on my scripts. You guys, this is why, but we might as well not berate people because they're acting out our scripts. Yeah. Remember, it's really easy to get what I'm talking about if you want to. We get it so that we can watch our ego tricks. We can admit them, and we get sort of humble, and we're not so prideful. We just admit all the tricks our ego does, and we watch for them and don't take them too seriously. It's like, okay, my ego's doing this. Oh well. Yeah, that's it. Again, remember the guidance coming, that there was a level of fellowship that was coming through the satsang that was being created on earth, through the satsang that was bringing in a level of fellowship that was very, very unusual, especially in the West. This is really, really true, you guys. Remember Gabriel and his message, tell them to turn inside. Yeah. And you guys, please just keep embracing yourself. It is like having this is my experience, like driving in a really big truck. You're driving in a really big truck and you've been going this way for a long time, and suddenly you see that this leads off the cliff and you have to start turning to avoid this cliff. And it's so hard to turn this truck because it's got this momentum behind it. And it takes incredible energy sometimes to steer it away from the track it's on. This is what it's like dealing with the ego. Please understand this. Please be gentle with yourselves if you're having trouble turning this truck. Please. Or a barge. That's another good example. Steering a barge. For the early years, transformation is like steering a barge. Truly. For everybody except the people that came in with, total little garbage. It's for everybody. They may not talk about it, you guys. That's it. That's it. Questions? Comments? You
Hey,
guys are
Karma
also
Credit.
okay. Good, Laura. Yes, sweet one.
Hi, I feel really on track until our satsang, and then I get up and then my head, just like you said before, and I think, oh, I'm not doing it right. Um, I'm moving in a couple weeks, and the universe seems to just open it up, and everything is happening so easily. But people around me are not happy with me, and that's the hardest thing for me is wanting people around me to be happy with what I'm doing or not doing. That's the ego.
Yeah, but just embrace it. I mean, it's very human. You know, it's, kind of, Laura, I always feel that you need to just let yourself be more. Just, it's okay. We all upset people when we do things like move or make a change. Yeah. You could ask the universe why it matters but maybe it's just obvious why it matters. Just, sweetie, you just need to I think just you breathing is a total achievement. Like with your brain stuff, like just go like the angels are celebrating me getting out of bed every morning. Okay.
They are.
They are.
They are.
Okay. So keep steering your mind that way. Like, yeah,
Okay.
right.
Okay. Thanks.
All right. Like you guys sometimes when I'm speaking to you guys, like I say, I hit this wall of anger in you guys. Like if I worried about like my experience with you kind of a lot, like on unconscious levels, is that you don't want to hear what I'm saying. So Laura, do you see what I mean? That's just part of this satsang is Prema Sutta feels kind of push back sometimes. You see what I mean? It's just kind of, it's not nearly a bad thing. It's just kind of what it's like, helping people come out of their egos, and I don't take it personally.
I'm not trying to push you back.
No.
Sometimes
But
I listen to you.
I meant about like not everybody's happy with whatever we do. That's what I meant. But I think I just made it too complicated. Okay, let's go back to being praised for getting out of bed every morning, truly. And I really feel that really strongly. Actually, you know what? I feel like truly I am getting this information that there are several angels there with you, clapping, praising you for getting out of bed in the morning with all that you deal with. I mean it.
Thanks, my Mr.
Yeah, good. Right. Yeah. You guys, yeah, for us to go to the love underneath everything, we can try to evolve, but go to the love. And the only reason I spell out the how-tos is because our culture is so body-based that we don't have an idea of how to evolve. So that's why I have to spell it out. But really, it's all oriented towards hoping and helping you guys feel the love behind everything, the love in things, that you're made out of love. And you can trust this love, and you're being held in it. Yeah, you're being held in this love, you guys. And there is immense care for you. There's immense care for us. And if we're failing at a step, you cannot fail. But if you're struggling with a step, you will start, if you're oriented towards truth, you will start attracting energetic help to help you make the leap. Think this way. This is the truth of it, you guys. And that it's known how tough it is here on earth. And the only reason anger comes up, it's coming from you guys, it's coming from your subconscious level. It's coming from a level of your ego that doesn't want to be disturbed. And so I work with that. I work with that all the time. It's just very human. Of course it's this way. It's just that Pramaksuta can see it. It's not a sin or a bad thing. And eventually what happens is this anger, it's getting thinner and thinner and thinner. Yeah, and you guys, we're in a culture where, nobody's listening to each other. I had to get like cholesterol checked. And so I was like getting blood work, and the woman was lovely, but she didn't listen to a thing I said. And she actually told me what I just said to her. She told me what I just said to her as like a point to instruct me. I'm like, oh, I have great empathy for all of us trying to evolve, trying to wake up. There's no errors. It's impossible for an error. There's no error, ever, ever. It's like there are a million choices possible. And if you make all of a million, you will achieve enlightenment just because you've made them all. And the level of information it's brought you. Really, that's kind of how it goes. Anything else? You know, my GP has had something wrong with her, and it was something that she's from Romania, and she felt it wasn't the processes that were dealt with this difficult genetic thing weren't that great. So she struggled for about like 18 months, and she finally found somebody who could help her on some other country. I don't know what it was, but it's very good help, and she's very happy with the result and much more upbeat. So this woman, she didn't give up no matter what she faced. And she got ridiculed by Western doctors and told she was being difficult. And she just kept going. And her love of herself was intense enough that she went right till it was solved. And this is what we have to be like on the journey, you guys. Just like that. It will all get solved if you just keep going. You come to these breakthroughs, these big jumps. You know, nothing might happen for a year, and all of a sudden, boom. It's how it goes. There are plateaus. I remember when I was 47, I realized that it was 13 years till I was 60. And I thought to myself, I'm not that far on the journey, and 60 is coming. I was in a plateau, and that's what got me out of the plateau. Was it's like this. We just bumble with our very human selves. Right. And please honor yourself wherever you are. Remember that really helped at the satsang, where I was saying every place you are at is a respected place on the journey. Yeah. And remember, if you're stuck, the universe will just lovingly give you more and more information about how painful it is to be stuck. And this is what helps us blast through the dam and the river. Over and over again. That's it. And as the years pass, what happens, you guys, more and more of you gets on the journey. I don't know how to explain it, but you just become more in the journey. You're just more in it. And that helps it speed up. And everything has a season. And Amma has said before that she likes the journeys that kind of bring enlightenment in old age. She likes that best. And, again, I'm not, who knows what Amma means, but I look at it as, well, there's respect for the cycles of the earth plane too there, and an embrace of the seasons and the years and the learnings that happened at the, child level, parent level, and then grandparent level. Yeah. I hope you know how loved you are. Yeah. Yeah. And remember, we're coming to a close now, but I have no idea how much first Abraham and then Amma loved me like she loves all of us. But I had no idea of the depth and the totality of the commitment until, latterly. I didn't know it was there. But it was always there working with me. And the same principle, and you can't even compare. The same principle operates with this satsang. I hold you in great love and understanding. Yeah. And the spiritual journey, the structures, the steps and structures are the same for everybody. The main thing you might ask yourself if you're feeling like, you're doing it wrong, just casually ask Amma, speak it out loud. Amma, why do I always feel like I'm doing it wrong? And then wait for an answer. Please, you guys, this is taking our power. This is the answer to learned helplessness. We can do this. We will get an answer. I promise you. That's it. Somebody just came out from behind a wall. Tima. They did. It just came out. It's so wonderful. Yeah, you guys. Well, it's when to know when the cake's done or when the stew's done, and not to mess with, or when a painting's done, you don't want to mess with it. I just want to leave it here with this point. Yeah. And it's beautiful. And if this one person came out of the wall, this is where you guys are all going. The stuff that happens in the satsang, at each week, different people make a shift, but it's where everybody's going. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. All of us. We all go together. And if you're arguing with this about where I'm, with this thing about like where I'm saying we're all going there, and if you're going like, I don't know if I'm really going there, speak to Amma, go, Amma, why am I thinking this way? That's taking your power, you guys. Okay. Well, I'll get the videos to you soon, and many, many blessings. And guys, I also wanted to tell you, I got that book, How I Transformed Anger, or How Anger Transformed into Wisdom, is on Kindle for some of you who don't know. So if you feel like reading it, it might really help. And any review would be very received with happiness. Yeah, but the book's a light-hearted look at anger, and it might really help. Okay, I am I am talked out. I can't say anymore.